Today we'll be working on a 1980 Mercedes 450 SL Roadster. We're going to be diagnosing a problem with the engine and the fuel pump. So basically the car starts up and turns right back off. We're going to see exactly if there's enough fuel pressure or if possibly the fuel pump has an issue delivering fuel to the engine and the cylinders. So the starter and the ignition have been rewired to this little switch right here so that it bypasses the ignition switch, and then I can start it from here. As you can see here, earlier we cleaned out this whole air intake and replaced one of the little coils, little lines right here that was broken off. And we're going to start it right now really quickly and show you what the issue we're having exactly is. Okay, so I'm going to spare some starter fluid into the air intake to help the car start. And you'll see. And it turns right back off. So there's a couple things we're going to check to see what the exact issue is. One, we're looking at fuel pressure and the spark plugs. First, in this video, we're going to test the the fuel pressure to see if there's enough fuel getting to the engine. And we're going to do that by first removing the carburetor and testing this fuel line right here. I'll give you a closer look up close. So if you look at this right here, it looks like a little spider thing. So this is actually where the fuel is distributed to the engine. So the fuel from the gas tank is sent from this line into the other cylinders. So we're going to test firstly if there's actually clean fuel, clean gas getting to the engine, and two, if there's enough fuel pressure that if it matches the specs of Mercedes, to see if the fuel pressure is consistent. So first we're going to take this off and we're going to pour it into like a nice little clear plastic cylinder, like container or whatever, and see if that fuel is consistent and if it needs to, the gas tank needs to be taken down and cleaned out. And then next we're going to test the fuel pressure. So here shortly I'm going to have you guys see this. Okay. So this thing right here, the carburetor, is fairly easy to take off. There's a couple little, I think they're 10mm bolts. One right here, one over here, and I believe there might be one in the back. Anyway, so we're gonna remove that. And there's also this little hook, sorry, not the hook, this little pipe right here that's connected into the carburetor itself. So I'm gonna try to remove that. Get that off so we have workspace clear. Next, we're going to remove this as I spoke of earlier. Let's see. Looks like what is this? Yeah, 17. You want to be very careful with these. Sometimes, they're old and rusted and they might break off. So. Okay, give you guys a closer look exactly what we're looking at. So now that we have this removed, and we can see there's a little, there looks like there is some gas there, some fuel, but nonetheless we're going to take it off and we're going to see exactly what's going on. Then you're going to get like a little extender and a 10mm to remove this bottom thing. Here, I'll show you very quickly exactly where it's at. So this is held down by this, and there's also a 10mm down here that you would like to remove so that you can have full access to this. And it's luckily connected by one of these, so you can just kind of let it sit to the side and let it fill up a plastic container like I spoke of earlier. Okay, so just want to make sure you don't drop this because you do not want something to get lost in this engine bay. Okay, cool. Now, once you got that 10 millimeter out and you remove the 17 millimeter nut, you can just move it to the side. It's going to be a little hard because you have these little fuel lines that are connected to the Bosch electronic. You see? Let's move this to the side. Okay. That does not look like it wants to move. And you got to be careful. These things, these fuel lines are made out of, metal, and you don't want them to be, bent out of place or broken. So we're gonna try to work this out somehow. So here we have a little siphon kit. We're gonna just use the pipe of the siphon kit to actually rewire that fuel to see what kind of fuel we have. Given you don't necessarily need this one specifically, but it's just going to be easier for us because, like, one, if you look at this little plastic tube, it actually fits perfectly on our little pipe for the fuel injection line. So we're going to put that right on there, and we're going to try starting the car up and fill this little container with the fuel to see what we got. Probably want to put this on a downstream so that it kind of flows more easily as well. It's also a very long tube. Okay. Let's try this again. So it looks like there's no fuel coming out actually. So, obviously that's a problem, and it might be this actually is kind of stuck into place. There we go. Okay. Well, now we have an answer to one of our questions, is that there's no fuel pressure going into the fuel line. Okay, so now that we identified that there is no fuel coming in from the fuel line, we can at least definitively say that there's two things, or at least one of the two things. One, either the fuel pump is obviously not working, needs to be replaced. I'm going to take that off and actually get it tested with a multimeter and to see if there's any current running through it. And then also, obviously this is a car that's been sitting around, and the older guy, the old gentleman I bought it from, he didn't have it running for quite a while. So, and then the time I've also had it, so I mean it's maybe sitting for a year, 6 months. So we're going to go around the back and actually remove the gas tank. We're going to put that in another video. So this is the actual gas cap, and you can see it's an older vehicle. There's rust all built up, and you can see that this obviously needs to be cleaned out. So what we're going to do next is basically drop the gas tank. We'll do that in a separate video on how to do that. The gas tank is located right over here, so you can see on the other side of this, and it's going to be we're going to have to remove basically all of this in the back and remove the gas tank and basically clean that out. We're gonna have like a compressor to blow air, and we would test if the fuel lines, because obviously it's been sitting around for a while, the fuel lines could be all clogged up and whatnot. So we're gonna basically either put a compressor from here and blow air to see if we can either clean out or test whether there's actually clean lines. So we either blow air from this side or the other side near the gas tank and see if there's air coming out. Either if there's no air, that needs to be cleaned out or maybe replaced, or if there's air, obviously the lines are clean and it will be operable. So we're going to either blow air from here on the other side and drop the gas tank and go from there. As soon as that issue is taken care of, where we either, obviously we need to clean the gas out anyway because it's been sitting around so long, and test the fuel pump. And we're going to basically take that off, use a multimeter, and see if there's any current running through it, any resistance. Anyway, that's it for today, and that's all we have to say. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe.